Welcome to this video. Today, what I want to do is talk about September 23, 2017. Why? Well, on that day, many people in the body of Christ are promoting that there is going to be a fulfillment of the verse in Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. And so let's go and let's read this, because in this video, I want to talk about what is the ministry that I'm with, Spirit and Truth Fellowship's official position concerning this sign. So let's read this just so that we know the section in Revelation and we can all be familiar with it. Revelation 12:1 says, "A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth." Now, as I mentioned, there are a number of people in the body of Christ, three prominent ministries that I can think of that have many YouTube videos out there that are promoting that on September 23, 2017 is the fulfillment of this particular verse, specifically that the woman is going to give birth. Now, where this is derived from is that the woman is, they believe, is referred to as Virgo, the constellation of Virgo, and Leo, that they say has 9 stars. 3 planets, which are wandering stars, are going to move into the constellation of Leo, making it 12 stars, so that'll be their crown as they propose. And that Jupiter has entered into Virgo, has been in the womb for a gestational period of 40-some weeks, and that on September 23, 2017, Jupiter moves out and the woman gives birth. Now, the reason I'm speaking about this is because a number of people have written me and others in the home office concerning this, and their question is this really the sign as some are promoting? Others are very upset, saying that this is in fact date setting, which is the when you set a date concerning the return of Christ or other significant prophetic events. And then others are just flat out confused, and they're like, I don't know what to believe. So that we've got some that are denouncing it, some that are promoting it, and some that are confused. And that's why I'm doing this video. Because let's face it, end times, studying what we call eschatology, which is the fancy word for studying the end times, it's exciting. I love it. I've always looked at, the prophecies of Matthew 24 and Luke 22 and the book of Revelation, and we look in Thessalonians at what Paul said concerning the resurrection and / rapture of the church. And so these are all interesting, intriguing. We want to know what's coming down the pipeline, so to speak. We want to know if God is setting great signs, and we don't want to be caught unawares. And I understand that. It's a lot of fun to be able to try and interpret Daniel and what's happening in the world. The problem is that many times the conclusions that are reached are based upon underlying assumptions. And of course, if assumptions are wrong, then you're going to be wrong in your conclusions. If the assumptions are correct, which hopefully we all make assumptions, we all make conclusions, and hopefully we are making proper ones. But concerning Spirit and Truth Fellowship, what is our position on it? Actually, we don't have one. The reason is, as I said, that it's not clear. There is solid evidence, and I do understand all of the positions that people are putting out there, as well as do all of the other employees and board members of Spirit and Truth Fellowship. In fact, we've all talked about this at length, and that's why I'm preparing the video, because people do look to our ministry as a research and teaching ministry, and they want to know, what do you guys think? Well, there is significant evidence that, as some have presented, does appear to make sense. But there's also counter evidence to that. And I will admit, some of that counter evidence makes sense too. The point is to conclusively say that what's happening on September 23, 2017 is the fulfillment of this event in Revelation is not something we can do, because we would have to speculate. And I will say emphatically that anyone that's saying absolutely or unconditionally or this is that event, they're wrong, because nobody knows that. The other reason we're speaking out on this is because we know that many people are making life changes, life altering decisions, important decisions, based on whether this is in fact that sign. And what they're saying is that some people are promoting that this is the beginning of the final 70th week of Daniel. Other people are saying this is the date that the rapture of the church is going to occur on. There's other people that are saying we're already in the tribulation period and this is going to be the unveiling or revealing of the Antichrist. So as you can see, there's a lot of speculation, and the reason is because God does not conclusively say what this sign is a sign of. He says it's a great sign. Of course, that's what it says in Revelation 12:1. It says, a great sign appeared in heaven. But he never gives us the meaning of that sign. Now, again, people are speculating. And I kind of think of that, as you can see, with all the different options that are being thrown out. It's like a rabbit running across the field in 1,000 different directions. We don't base our doctrines and what we teach and what we promote based on speculation. I would like to say that one of our board members, Gary Tyson, Dr. Tyson, and has spent extensive time researching and studying this. He has studied the feasts of Israel as they concern this. He's also looked at stars and all of the star programs in the computer, and he's mapped a lot of stuff out. But Gary's the first one to tell you. He's just trying to make connections, and he is not date setting. He is not saying conclusively what is going to happen or what isn't happen. All we can say is we can see the stars and we see what movement has happened, but we tread lightly when it comes to this area. And 2 years ago at our national conference, we thought it was interesting enough that we gave Gary the opportunity for an hour and more to present his research, just as an informational idea. But Gary even opened that meeting with the premise and showed numerous examples, over 100 examples of how people in the past who have set dates concerning the return of Christ and other things have with 100% certainty been wrong up to today. And so it was in the context of, this is interesting. We see things that are happening. They may be, but we're not going to conclusively say anything that this absolutely is. So what is the official position of STF? Well, there's a few things. Number one, we officially do not date set. Date setting, again, is when we say this is going to occur on this date and it's a future prophetic event. It's just too clouded when it comes to end times events, and frankly, God doesn't give us a date, and Jesus even ignored giving a date and said these things are in the Father's power. So STF, let's be clear, does not date set, has not, will not, and to my knowledge isn't date setting. So that's number one concerning our official position on September 23 of 2017. The next one is that Revelation 12:1 says that this is a sign, but it never says what it is a sign of. And that, if anybody is saying that they know what the sign means, then they're guessing. They're making, now maybe it's a good educated guess. I'm not going to make any judgment on that. I don't know. But it does say it's a sign, and it never says what it is a sign of. The fact of the matter is, as I've said, there's evidence that supports it. There's evidence that says that it isn't. So I encourage everybody, investigate it and look into it. But the bottom line is that we are not, certainly not, to alter our life plans based on some speculation such as this. Jesus gave us one set of marching orders, and that was go make disciples. Our focus is to be on Christ and his message to the world. And I know of people that have have that this is affecting their life in a very significant way. I know some people have put off counseling, very important counseling that they should be getting, because they're saying, after all, if we're going to be raptured, what's the point? And that's wrong. Other people are altering decisions based on investments and whether they should move and not move. I've been aware of this situation for a number of years, and my wife and I looked at it, and it even crossed our mind. If in fact this is going to be the rapture or something, should we move? Well, a year ago we decided we're not going to base our life on speculation like this, and we upped and moved, and it's been a very profitable move for us. So I would just like to encourage you that let's be excited about the return of the Lord. I mean, of course, but let's not base it on something that may or may not be happening in the stars. Let's base it on the words of Jesus that says he's coming back. And I want to challenge you. Don't allow things like this to distract you from the mission that God has given you, that the gifts and calling that you personally have are what you are to be demonstrating and using in service to the body of Christ. So let's focus on that, and whether this is the sign or not the sign, really it's irrelevant to us in some ways, because Jesus charged us, go make disciples. So let's focus on that.